In the far north of Canada, there are places where the snow never melts, not even in summer. The temperature drops to -40. The wind cuts through skin, and time itself seems to stop, along with those who never made it back. February 2012. 3 people set out to climb Mount Logan. Thomas, 32, an engineer who loves risk. His brother Eric, 3 years younger, calm, steady, dependable. And Sarah, Thomas's wife, 28, going on her very first real expedition. The plan is simple: 5 days, a familiar route, top-notch gear. The forecast looks reasonable. Their parents see them off with smiles. "Be careful," Thomas's mother says. They laugh. Caution is for beginners, but only one of them will return. He'll come down from the mountains a week later, frostbitten, exhausted, and tell the rescuers it was a storm. The search team will go back up, find traces of the camp, but no bodies. Then the investigation begins, and soon the detectives realize the real storm started long before the snow. Not in the sky, but between those 3 people. The moment one glance lasted just a second too long. This is a story about how the cold outside was nothing compared to the cold within. How betrayal can cut deeper than frost, and how every footprint in the snow eventually leads to the truth. 3 weeks before the climb, Thomas spreads all the gear across the living room floor. Tents, sleeping bags, gas burners, ice axes, ropes, carabiners. He checks every little detail. Eric sits nearby, writing down the food list. Sarah makes coffee in the kitchen. It's their first trip together. Until now, the brothers always went alone, but Sarah insisted. "I want to understand what keeps pulling you back there," she says. Thomas is thrilled. Eric nods. "It'll be great," he replies, and looks at her just a bit too long. Sarah smiles back. 1 second, 2. Thomas glances up from his backpack and catches the moment, but thinks nothing of it. Why would he? That's his brother, his wife, their family. That evening, they flip through photos from past expeditions. Eric tells stories about getting lost with Thomas in the Rockies. Sarah laughs. Thomas puts his arm around her. Everything feels perfect, warm, right. Outside, the snow falls softly, quietly. Nothing like the snow on Mount Logan. Up there, it cuts your face, fills your lungs, turns the world into a white void where sky and ground blur into one. Departure morning, February 6th. Their parents come to say goodbye. Thomas's mother hugs both sons. Their father shakes their hands. "Be careful out there," he says. Sarah kisses her mother-in-law on the cheek. "Don't worry, we'll be back in 5 days." Thomas loads the backpacks into the car. Eric checks the GPS one last time. Sarah adjusts her hat in the mirror and catches Eric's eyes in the reflection. Again, that glance. Again, that second. The engine starts. They wave from the window. The car turns the corner, and none of them knows that caution won't help anymore. That choosing to go as a trio will be the biggest mistake of their lives. The drive takes 8 hours. They pass small towns, frozen lakes, endless pine forests. Sarah sits in the back seat. Thomas drives. Eric rides shotgun. The talk is light. Jokes, plans, laughter. But something is already changing. Something invisible. Like a crack in the ice, thin, silent, almost impossible to notice at first. They pull over at the parking lot at the base of the mountain, the last outpost of civilization before the climb. A small forest station, a wooden cabin with a sign that reads Route Registration. Inside, a ranger in his 50s sits behind a desk, gray mustache, worn-out jacket. Thomas fills out the form, lists their route. Planned return date, February 11th. The ranger studies the map and shakes his head. Weather changes fast up there. Every year someone gets stuck. Thomas smiles. We're ready. Outside, they spread all their gear across the hood of the car for one last check. Tents, intact, zippers working. Sleeping bags rated for -30. Full gas canisters. Enough food for a week. Spare batteries for headlamps. First aid kit. Signal flares. Eric checks the ropes, running them through his hands in silence. His face is tense, his brow furrowed. Thomas notices. Everything okay? Eric nods. Yeah, just making sure. But his voice doesn't sound right. There's something strained in it. Sarah stands off to the side, going through her backpack. She pulls out her water flask, looks at it, and puts it back. Her movements are sharp, mechanical. She tries not to look at Eric, tries to act natural. but it only makes her seem distant, too distant. 3 adults, standing side by side, getting ready for the climb. And each of them is hiding something. Eric is tense, Sarah withdrawn. And Thomas? Thomas doesn't notice, because he trusts them, because they're family. He takes out a thermos of coffee and pours 3 cups. "To the adventure," he says, raising his mug. Eric clinks his cup with his. Sarah does too. But when Thomas turns away to grab the map from the car, something happens that changes everything. Eric looks at Sarah. She looks back. A second. Maybe 2. In that glance, there's everything. Fear, guilt, something unspoken. Something that should have stayed far away from these mountains. Thomas spreads the map out on the hood. "Here's our route," he says. "We'll set up our first camp here, by the stream." He traces the lines with his finger. Eric and Sarah step closer. Once again, they're together. Once again, they look like a family. But the crack is already there, much deeper than any of them can imagine. Sometimes tragedy doesn't start with a storm, or a wrong calculation, or a broken piece of gear. Sometimes it starts with a single look, with what was never said out loud, with what should have remained a secret. They shoulder their packs, tighten the straps. Thomas steps onto the trail first. Eric follows. Sarah comes last. The forest swallows them whole. Snow crunches under their boots. The first day goes perfectly. The trail is clear, the slope gentle. Sunlight filters through the evergreens. The snow sparkles so brightly they have to wear dark glasses. The air smells of pine and frost. The silence is so complete they can hear the wind brushing through the treetops. Thomas leads the way, setting the pace, humming to himself. Eric stays quiet, counting his steps, breathing evenly. Sarah lags a few meters behind, her pack heavier than she expected, but she refuses to complain. By 3 in the afternoon, they've covered about 8 kilometers. They stop for a break beside a frozen creek. Thomas pulls out the thermos and pours hot tea. "How's it going?" he asks Sarah. She smiles. "Tired, but I love it." The mountains around them rise higher, sharper, their peaks slicing the sky. Somewhere far above, the wind howls so fiercely it almost sounds like a scream. But here, in the forest, it's calm, still safe. By 6 in the evening, they reach a clearing, the perfect spot for their first camp. Flat ground between rocks, sheltered from the wind, a small spring nearby, still running and clear. Thomas nods. "Perfect, let's set up camp." They work fast. 2 hours later, everything's ready. 2 tents, one for Thomas and Sarah, one for Eric. The fire burns bright, the logs crackle, and the flames throw long shadows across the snow. Dinner is simple, canned food, bread, cheese. Thomas takes out a flask of whiskey. "For warmth," he says, passing it around. They each take a sip. Talk drifts easily. Eric about work, Sarah about her new project. Thomas jokes about that one time he and his brother got lost and had to eat snow for dinner. Laughter, sparks fly upward. The stars are so bright it feels like you could reach out and touch them. Everything seems right, just the way a family trip should be. But Thomas notices something. He can't explain it, not exactly. Just a feeling. When Eric passes the flask to Sarah, their fingers linger for a heartbeat too long. When she laughs, she looks at Eric, not him. When Eric pokes the fire, he sits where the light hits her face. Small things, barely noticeable. Maybe Thomas is just tired. Maybe it's a trick of the light. But something inside him tightens, a quiet unease, like standing on ice and hearing it crack beneath your feet. He takes another sip from the flask, looks at his wife, his brother. They're right there beside him. Yet somehow, it feels like they're miles away, as if an invisible wall has formed between them. The fire burns low. The embers glow red. The cold returns fast. Thomas stands. "We should get some sleep. Tomorrow's a long day." Eric nods. Sarah yawns. They head to their tents. But that night, none of them falls asleep right away. Thomas lies in his sleeping bag, listening to Sarah's breathing. She's turned to the wall. In the next tent, Eric shifts restlessly. The forest whispers outside, and somewhere far off, the wind begins to howl. The morning of the 3rd day begins differently. The sky is gray, heavy, pressing down like a lid. The wind picks up, first gentle, then sharp, then angry. The first snowflakes fall around 9 a.m. Thomas checks the thermometer. -22. Yesterday it was minus 15. The temperature is dropping faster than the forecast predicted. He pulls out the map and points. We've got about 7 kilometers left to reach the next checkpoint. If we move fast, we'll make it before dark. They break camp quickly. The tents are damp from snow. Their hands freeze even inside gloves. Sarah zips her jacket up to her chin. Eric tightens his hood. Thomas checks the compass. The needle jerks, north, then east, then north again. He taps the glass. The needle freezes. Magnetic interference, Eric says. It happens here. The rocks mess with the field. Thomas nods, puts the compass away, and switches to the map and GPS. But the GPS battery shows only 30%. Yesterday it was 50. The snowfall intensifies. By noon, visibility drops to 20 meters. The trail disappears beneath fresh snow. Thomas leads, breaking the path. Snow up to his knees, every step an effort. Eric helps Sarah, holding her hand when she stumbles. Thomas turns around, sees it. His brother's hand on his wife's. The look she gives back, grateful. Something clicks inside him. Not painful, not loud. Just a small, sharp crack, like glass under pressure. "We need to find shelter," Eric shouts through the wind. Thomas doesn't answer. He studies the map, the paper soaked, lines blurring. He tries to locate their position, but all landmarks are buried. Everything's white. Everything looks the same. 3 people, in the mountains, in a snowstorm. The compass is useless. The GPS is dying. And the worst part, they're starting to lose their bearings. Not just in the landscape, but in each other. By 3 p.m., the wind turns into a full-blown blizzard. The temperature drops to minus 28. Snow lashes their faces like sand. Breathing becomes hard. Thomas stops, turns around. "We have to stop, now." Eric points left. Through the wall of snow, a dark shape appears. A rock face with a gap at its base. They push toward it, wading through deep drifts. Eric checks first. "A cave," he shouts. "Small, but it'll do." Inside, it's dry, dark. The air smells of stone and old moss. The ceiling's about 2 meters high, 5 meters deep, just enough for 3 people. They drop their packs, brush off the snow, breathe hard. Thomas pulls out a flashlight and switches it on. The beam slices through the dark. Eric unrolls a mat. Sarah sits on a rock, removes her gloves. Her fingers are white, almost blue. Eric notices, takes her hands, rubs them between his. Thomas watches for a long time, in silence. Then he turns toward the entrance. Outside, the storm screams, a sound that feels alive, almost human. Inside, silence, heavy, thick, as if the air itself has weight. Eric lets go of Sarah's hands and moves away to set up the gas stove. Sarah doesn't move, just stares at the ground. Thomas turns back. "How long do we wait here?" he asks. Eric checks his watch. "Depends on the storm, maybe a few hours, maybe till morning." Thomas nods, sits down by the opposite wall, unfolds the map. But the lines blur before his eyes. All he sees are his brother's hands, his wife's eyes, the looks they've shared all this time. Outside, a storm. Inside, another one, silent, invisible, just as deadly. Because in the mountains, not every storm rages in the sky. Sometimes it hides inside people, waiting for the right moment to strike. They stay in the cave through the night. The blizzard won't stop. The wind howls so fiercely it sounds like the mountains themselves are crying. Eric builds a small fire near the entrance. The smoke drifts out. The flame gives more light than warmth. But it's something. Dinner is quiet. Canned beans, crackers, hot tea from the thermos. Thomas eats slowly, eyes fixed on the fire. Eric talks about the weather, says it should clear by morning. Sarah nods, barely speaking. By 10 p.m., the fire dies. Too little wood, too much moisture. They crawl into their sleeping bags. Thomas near one wall, Sarah in the middle, Eric on the other side. The flashlights go out. Darkness, thick, complete. Thomas closes his eyes, trying to sleep. But sleep won't come. His mind spins, the glances, the touches. Maybe he's imagining things. Maybe it's exhaustion. Maybe the cold is playing tricks. Around midnight, he drifts into a shallow, uneasy doze, then jolts awake. He's not sure why. A sound, maybe. Or a feeling. He lies still, breathing softly, listening. A whisper, faint, almost inaudible. He opens his eyes. Darkness, but his vision has adjusted. Shapes emerge. Sarah is sitting up. Eric is next to her, too close. Their heads are bent toward each other, whispering. He can't make out words, only the tone, soft, intimate, not meant for another's ears. His heartbeat thunders. He doesn't move, doesn't want them to know he's awake. Watches as Eric touches her hand, watches her not pull away, watches as his world quietly breaks apart in that frozen cave, beneath the storm's howl. Minutes crawl by. They whisper a little longer, then settle back into their sleeping bags. Silence again. Thomas lies still, eyes open, breathing steady, but inside, everything burns. He doesn't sleep at all, just stares into the dark, replaying it over and over. Maybe he's mistaken. Maybe Sarah couldn't sleep. Maybe Eric was comforting her. Brotherly concern. But he knows. Deep down, he knows. It was something else. Something they've been hiding. Something that started long before this trip. Maybe months, maybe years. Dawn comes slowly. The storm fades by 6. A dull gray light seeps into the cave. Eric wakes first, stretches. Looks like it's clearing up, he says. Sarah opens her eyes, nods. Thomas is already sitting, dressed, ready. You didn't sleep? Eric asks. Thomas looks at him, long, cold. I did, he says, his voice steady, flat, like ice. They pack up in silence. Step outside, snow up to their ankles. The sky has cleared, the sun shines, but there's no warmth. The wind is gone. It's time to move. Thomas studies the map without a word. Eric comes closer. Maybe we should turn back. The weather's unpredictable. Thomas shakes his head. No, we stick to the plan. Sarah stands apart, feeling it. The tension, the weight in the air. Thomas, are you okay? She asks. He looks at her. I'm fine. But his silence says more than any words could. It's heavy as stone, loud as thunder. It hangs between them, pressing down, suffocating, and they all feel it. Eric and Sarah exchange a glance, quick, frightened. Thomas sees it, and that's the last straw. Sometimes silence isn't the absence of words. Sometimes silence is the beginning of the end. They've been walking for 3 hours. Thomas leads the way, fast, almost running. Eric tries to keep up. Sarah struggles to breathe. Thomas, slow down, she calls out. He doesn't answer, doesn't turn, just keeps moving. By noon, snow begins to fall again. At first, it's light, then thicker. The clouds roll in, heavy, low, pressing down on the ridge. Visibility drops fast. Eric glances up. We need to find shelter again. Thomas stops abruptly. No. What do you mean, no? Eric asks. Thomas turns around, his face hard, his eyes cold. I mean, no. We keep moving. Eric frowns. You're out of your mind. The weather's getting worse. Thomas steps closer. And what's it to you? You in charge now? Sarah senses it, the tension. She moves closer. Thomas, what's happening? He looks at her, long, steady. What's happening? Maybe you should tell me. She blinks. Tell you what? Thomas laughs, bitter, sharp. You really don't get it, do you? You think I'm blind? Eric tenses. What are you talking about? Thomas points a gloved finger straight at him. You, her, the little secret you think I don't see. Silence. Only the wind howling, the snow thickening around them. Sarah goes pale. Eric freezes. Thomas, you're wrong. Thomas cuts him off. Wrong? I saw you, in the cave, whispering like kids. Thought I was asleep? Sarah shakes her head. It's not what you think. Thomas steps closer. Oh yeah? Then what is it? A friendly midnight chat with my brother in the dark? His voice rises, raw, shaking. Eric steps between them. Calm down. Let's talk like adults. Thomas shoves him in the chest. Don't tell me what to do. You, my brother, you're sleeping with my wife. Can you imagine? 3 people, a snowstorm, minus 30 degrees, and everything falling apart. Not because of the cold, not because of the weather, but because of the truth. Eric clenches his fists. I'm not sleeping with her. Thomas laughs. You're lying. I see how you look at her, how she looks at you. You think I'm stupid? Sarah cries. Thomas, please stop. But he doesn't. Years of tension, suspicion, resentment. Everything bursts out. How long? He shouts. How long has it been? Months? Years? He gets in Eric's face. Answer me! Eric says nothing, and that silence is worse than any confession. Thomas pushes him again, harder. Eric stumbles. Don't! Thomas pushes once more. Answer me! Eric snaps, pushes back. Thomas falls into the snow, scrambles up, lunges at his brother. They collide, tumbling down, fists, shouts, snow flying. Sarah screams. Stop! Please! They don't hear her. Eric tries to hold Thomas down. Thomas breaks free, swings. His fist connects with Eric's jaw. Eric shoves him away. Thomas stumbles backward. And then it happens. The thing no one planned. Thomas's boot catches on a rock. He loses balance, falls. The back of his head hits the edge of the cliff. A dull, heavy crack. Silence. Thomas lies in the snow, motionless, eyes open, staring at the sky, seeing nothing. Eric stands frozen, breathing hard, his hands trembling. Sarah runs to him, drops to her knees. Thomas! Thomas! She shakes him, no response, no blink, no breath. Eric kneels beside her, checks for a pulse. Nothing. He looks at Sarah. She looks at him. Horror fills her face. One wrong step, one stone, 1 second, and life turns into tragedy, the kind no one can undo. Eric sits in the snow, staring at his hands. They're shaking, he can't stop them. Beside him lies Thomas, his brother, the one he grew up with, shared a room with, dreams, secrets. Now he's gone. Sarah rocks back and forth, clutching her head, making sounds that aren't words, just broken animal sounds. She can't believe it, doesn't want to. This has to be a nightmare. Any second now, she'll wake up, in her warm bed, at home. But she won't. Minutes pass. Snow keeps falling, covering Thomas's body in a white shroud. Eric finally stands, unsteady, walks to Sarah. We need to... His voice cracks. He doesn't know what to say, what to do. Sarah lifts her head. Her face is red, wet with tears. It's my fault. All of it. Eric shakes his head. No, it was an accident. She laughs, hysterical, broken. An accident? You pushed him? Eric flinches. He started it. I defended myself. Sarah rises, steps toward him. Defended yourself? He's dead. Do you understand? Dead. Her voice breaks into a scream. Eric tries to calm her, reaching out to hold her. She hits his chest with her fists. Don't touch me. He lets go. She steps back, stares at Thomas's body, then at Eric. What are we going to do? Eric's mind is fogged, frozen. We'll go down, call for help, tell them what happened. Sarah nods slowly. Yes, we'll tell the truth. The whole truth. Eric looks at her, wary. What do you mean? She wipes her face. About us, about what was between us, about how he was right. Eric goes pale. Sarah, no. She shakes her head. Yes, I can't live like this. I can't lie. Eric steps closer. Listen, if you tell them, they'll think we had a motive, that we wanted him gone. Her eyes widen. But that's not true. I know, Eric says, but they won't believe it. They'll see what we were, and they'll think we killed him. He doesn't finish. He doesn't need to. Sarah understands. Fear shifts into something else. Realization. So what then? We lie? Eric grips her shoulders. We'll say it was the storm, that he fell, that we tried to save him. Sarah stares at the snow, the body, then at Eric. Fear, guilt, instinct, all swirling inside. I can't, she whispers. I can't lie. Eric's grip tightens. Sarah, please, think. If you tell them everything, we're both finished. They'll lock us up. Even if it was an accident. She tears away from him. Let go. Steps back. I'll tell the truth. Let them decide. But I won't lie anymore. Her voice is firm. Final. Eric stares at her. Something shifts in his eyes. Something dark. You don't understand, he says quietly. She turns toward him. What don't I understand? He walks to his backpack, slowly, unzips the side pocket, takes out the ice axe. The steel glints even in the dim light. Sarah stares, at first confused, then terrified. Eric, her voice shakes. He shakes his head. I'm sorry, but I can't let you do that. She backs away. "You're insane. Put it down." But he doesn't. He steps forward. She steps back. "Eric, please, don't." No answer, just movement. Her scream is swallowed by the snow. The mountains don't care. A minute later, it's over. Eric stands alone. The ice axe drops into the snow. Silence. Absolute. Terrifying. Now he's alone. And it's colder than ever. Colder than any storm. Eric stands in a world of white silence. Two bodies in the snow. His brother and the woman he loved. Now, both gone. And he's the only one left. His mind feels detached, heavy. Thoughts move slowly, through fog. The first impulse, run, just run, downhill, away. But then another thought, sharper, colder. If he goes now, he'll have to explain. 2 dead, 1 survivor, too many questions, too much suspicion. He needs a story, a believable one. He sits on a rock, head in his hands, thinks, a storm. Yes, the storm. They got caught. They split up. He searched but couldn't find them. That's the story. But the bodies, he can't leave them here. The rescue team will come. They'll find them. See the wounds? No, it wasn't a storm. He stands, looks around. The snow is falling harder now. Good. It'll cover the tracks soon. In an hour, there will be no trace. Nature is helping him. He walks to the bodies, doesn't look at their faces, can't. He just does what he has to do. He drags Thomas first, by the arms, to a crack between 2 rocks, deep. Maybe 5 meters down, maybe more. He can't see the bottom. He pushes the body in. A dull sound, then silence. He stands at the edge, breathing clouds into the freezing air. Then Sarah, harder, much harder. He remembers her laugh, the way she touched his hand, the way she looked at him in the cave. He closes his eyes, takes a breath, opens them, drags her body to the same crack, pushes. Another thud, then nothing. But he's not done, not yet. He goes back, looks at the snow, dark patches, blood. He grabs a small shovel from his pack, starts covering it. Fresh snow, white, clean, erasing everything. He works like a machine, calm, precise, every motion deliberate, controlled. Survival instinct louder than guilt, louder than fear, louder than pain. When he's done, he checks his clothes. Jacket clean, pants fine, boots, dark stains on the soles. He scrubs them with snow, carefully, every inch, until there's no sign of what happened. No blood, no footprints, no truth, just snow. Then the backpacks. He needs to take what's essential, leave the rest, make it look believable. He grabs his own pack, takes a few things from Thomas's, the map, the compass, some food. Sarah's backpack lies a few steps away. Eric walks over, opens it, pulls out a thermos, a flashlight, and then sees something glinting in the side pocket. A necklace, a thin gold chain with a small pendant, a heart. He recognizes it instantly. Thomas gave it to Sarah on their anniversary 2 years ago. She never took it off. Eric holds it in his hand, stares at it. The chain feels cold, the pendant heavier than it should be. Why did he take it? He doesn't know. Maybe guilt, maybe memory, maybe madness. He slips it into his jacket pocket, zips it shut, stands there for a moment, looking at the snow. Everything is clean, covered, no trace of what happened. But the necklace burns through the fabric. He doesn't think about it now. He thinks about getting down, about what he'll say, about how to survive. Because the most dangerous evidence isn't what you leave behind. It's what you take with you. The thing that stays in your pocket, the thing that reminds, accuses, and one day betrays you. Eric descends for 2 days, alone, no stops, almost no sleep. He moves like a machine, legs on autopilot, brain numb, body running only on instinct. Survive. By the evening of February 13th, he reaches the forest station, the same one where they registered their route. The ranger sits inside, drinking coffee, sees a lone figure through the window, runs out. Eric collapses to his knees on the porch. The ranger catches him. What happened? Where are the others? Eric looks up, eyes hollow, lips cracked, face windburned. The storm, he whispers. It was the storm. The ranger helps him inside, sits him down, hands him a mug of hot tea, wraps him in a blanket. Eric's hands shake as he drinks in small sips. The ranger grabs the radio. "Base, we've got a survivor. Need medics and police. Urgent." 20 minutes later, a truck pulls up. The medic examines him. Mild frostbite on his fingers, dehydration, exhaustion. But otherwise fine. Physically fine. A police officer enters. Sergeant Mitchell, mid-40s, calm face, sharp eyes. He sits across from Eric, opens his notebook. "Can you tell me what happened?" Eric nods, takes a deep breath. "We got caught in a storm on the third day. Visibility dropped to 0. We decided to shelter in a cave." His voice is flat, mechanical. "The next morning, we set out again. Weather looked better, but after a few hours, it came back. Worse." Sergeant Mitchell writes. "Go on." Eric stares into his cup. "We split up. Thomas went one way to look for shelter, Sarah another. I took a third direction. We planned to meet after an hour, but the wind, it was too strong." He pauses, closes his eyes. "I searched for them. I shouted, but there was only wind. I looked all day, all night, the next day too. But they were gone." His voice breaks on the last word. "They just vanished into the snow." The ranger shakes his head. "Happens every year. Those mountains don't forgive mistakes." Sergeant Mitchell doesn't speak, just watches Eric, long, steady. "Why did you split up?" he finally asks. Eric blinks. "What?" The sergeant repeats slowly. "Why split up? First rule of survival is to stay together." Eric stiffens. "I don't know. Panic. We were disoriented. Everyone ran in different directions." The sergeant jots it down. "I see, and you made it out. They didn't." Something in his tone makes Eric uneasy. "I tried to find them, I swear." Mitchell nods. "I'm sure you did. Still, strange. You're in decent shape, hardly frostbitten, and they vanished." Eric grips his cup tighter. "I got lucky." Mitchell leans back. "Or maybe they didn't." The silence is heavy, suffocating. The ranger breaks it. "We'll send a search team. Maybe they're alive, hurt, waiting for help." Mitchell stands. "We'll organize it at first light." He turns to Eric. "You'll go to the hospital, get checked, then we'll talk again." Eric nods. His legs feel like paper. They lead him to the ambulance. He climbs in, stares out the window, sees Mitchell talking with the ranger, both watching him. At the hospital, they put him in a room, hook up an IV, give him sedatives. The doctor tells him he's lucky, that he survived what few ever do. But Eric doesn't feel lucky. He feels trapped, inside the story he's built. He survived, yes, but he's not saved, because there's no rescue from the truth. The truth always finds its way down the mountain. The search team heads out the next morning. 6 people, experienced climbers, dogs, full gear. They follow the route Eric described. 3 days of searching. They find the remains of a campsite, the cave where they sheltered, but no bodies. Snow has buried everything, layer upon layer. A fresh storm hit right after Eric's descent. Nature erased the evidence better than he ever could. The rescuers return empty-handed. "Most likely fell into a crevasse," says the team leader, "or wandered off and froze elsewhere." The parents arrive the next day, Thomas and Eric's mother, their father. They visit Eric in the hospital. She hugs him tight, crying. "Thank God you're alive. At least you're alive." Eric holds her, feels his chest ache. This is the woman who gave birth to both of them, Thomas and him. Now, one son is gone, and the other carries the truth, a truth he'll never be able to tell. Their father stands by the window, back turned, shoulders shaking. He's trying not to cry, fails. Eric sees it, wants to go to him, say something. But what could he possibly say? "Tell us," his mother whispers. "What really happened up there?" Eric repeats his story, word for word. The storm, the separation, the search. Nothing found. She nods, wiping her tears. "It's not your fault. You did everything you could." But every word cuts deep. Because it is his fault. All of it. A week later, he's discharged, goes home, to his empty apartment, quiet, still. He turns on the light, takes off his jacket, the same one he wore on the descent, hangs it in the closet. That night, he can't sleep. Every time he closes his eyes, he sees Thomas falling, the impact. He sees Sarah screaming, wakes up drenched in sweat, heart racing. The clock reads 3 a.m., still dark. Life goes on, he goes to work, buys groceries, talks to people. But inside, he's as dead as the two he left behind. His parents visit, bring food. His mother cooks his favorite soup. They sit in the kitchen, talking about the weather, about work, anything but the mountains, because the mountains are too painful to name. His father looks at him. "You look exhausted. Not sleeping?" Eric nods. "Nightmares." His father puts a hand on his shoulder. "They'll fade. Give it time." But Eric knows they won't. Because these aren't just nightmares. They're memories. They're guilt. A crime that breathes inside him. 2 weeks later, Sergeant Mitchell shows up, sits in the living room, refuses tea, opens his notebook. "Just a few more questions for the record." Eric nods, waits. "You said you split up during the storm," Mitchell begins. "Yes." Mitchell glances down. "The search team found your last camp. All 3 backpacks were still there, together." Eric freezes. "We went back for them, before we split." Mitchell notes something. "I see. And you took yours. They took theirs?" A pause. "Yes, no, I'm not sure. It was chaos." "Chaos," Mitchell repeats. He closes the notebook, stands. "Thank you for your time. If you remember anything else, call me." He leaves. Eric sits there, staring at the door, realizing this is only the beginning. The questions will keep coming. The suspicion will grow. Sooner or later, something will surface. He returns to work after a month. Colleagues shake his hand, tell him how sorry they are, how lucky he is to be alive. He smiles, thanks them. But the smile never reaches his eyes. It's thin, hollow, a mask. Because inside, there's nothing left but fear. Fear that they'll find out. Fear that the truth will rise from under the snow. And worst of all, the fear that he deserves it. Because guilt is a storm that never ends. It howls inside you, day and night. It doesn't let you rest, and it never lets you forget. Eric sits in the interrogation room for 6 hours, silent. His lawyer beside him keeps repeating, "Don't answer, wait." Mitchell fires off questions, one after another. Eric shakes his head. No comment. But the silence is heavier than words. On the table, the necklace glints under the harsh light. A tiny golden heart in a plastic evidence bag. It stares back at him like an accusation. He can't look away. Mitchell leans forward. "We'll find the bodies, Eric, sooner or later. The snow's melting. Another month, maybe 2, and they'll come out. Tell me now, while you can still control the story." The lawyer shakes his head, whispers, "Don't say a word." But Eric is done, exhausted. Months of lies, nights of guilt. His parents' eyes, full of pain, trust, love he doesn't deserve. He takes a breath. "I want to tell you." The lawyer grips his wrist. "Eric, no." But Eric pulls away, looks straight at Mitchell. "I'll tell you everything. Just promise me one thing." Mitchell narrows his eyes. "What?" "My parents. They should hear it from you first, not from the news." Mitchell nods once, turns on the recorder. "All right, start from the beginning." Eric exhales slowly and begins. "At first, there was nothing between us. Not like that. She loved Thomas, always did. But sometimes," he hesitates, stares at his hands. "Sometimes she'd look at me in a way that made me believe she understood me. That maybe, just maybe, she saw me too." His voice trembles. "I never planned anything. I never wanted to hurt him. He was my brother, my best friend." He swallows. "But I envied him. Not for the mountains, not for the risk. For her." Mitchell says nothing, just listens. Eric keeps talking, slowly, like someone walking barefoot over glass. "When we went on that trip, I thought it would fade. I thought being there, in the cold, the silence, would make it all go away. But it didn't. It got worse. We were close all the time. The looks, the touches that didn't mean anything, but felt like they did. And Thomas, he noticed. He closes his eyes. The night in the cave, he woke up. I know he did. Maybe he saw us whispering. Maybe just imagined it. But the next morning, everything changed." His voice cracks. "I swear we didn't do anything. There was no affair, just confusion. Just feelings that shouldn't have been there." He wipes his eyes with the back of his hand. "Then came the fight, the storm, the shouting. He thought we betrayed him. I tried to calm him down. He pushed me first. I pushed back, and he fell." The room is silent. Only the hum of the fluorescent light. Eric continues. "The sound, I'll never forget it, like ice breaking. 1 second he was alive, angry, breathing, and the next, gone. Just gone. He swallows hard. Sarah screamed. I tried to tell her it was an accident. She didn't listen. She said it was my fault. She was right. He takes a long pause. His voice gets quieter. I told her we'd go down, tell the truth, but she said she couldn't lie. She wanted to confess. I panicked. I thought they'd blame us both, thought it would destroy everything. He looks down at his cuffed hands. She turned away, said she'd tell the police. I tried to stop her. I swear I didn't mean to hurt her, but she was scared. I was scared. I grabbed the axe, just to stop her from walking away. He stops talking. Mitchell leans in. And then, Eric's voice is barely audible. And then it was quiet, too quiet. He breathes out, a hollow sound. I don't remember hitting her. I just remember the silence after, the wind, the snow. He looks up, eyes red, wet, lifeless. I buried them. Not because I wanted to hide them, because I couldn't look at them anymore. I thought if the snow covered them, maybe it would cover what I'd done. Mitchell's face doesn't change. And the necklace? Eric closes his eyes. I don't know why I took it. Maybe because it was the last thing she touched. Maybe because I couldn't let her go. The tape recorder hums softly. Eric's breathing grows uneven. You said once that guilt is a storm, Mitchell says quietly. Eric nods. It is, and I never got out of it. He leans back in his chair, exhausted. Mitchell clicks off the recorder. That's enough. Outside, April rain beats against the window. Somewhere far away, snow melts on the slopes of Mount Logan, washing away footprints, cleaning the stone, uncovering what was hidden all winter. But not everything melts. Not the guilt, not the memory, and not the necklace, the small golden heart that caught the light and told the truth when no one else could. That trip, the tension, the night in the cave when they whispered to each other, just talking. She cried, said she felt guilty, said she could feel the way Eric looked at her. Then the morning, the fight. Thomas accused them, and he was right about everything. Eric loved her. He never crossed the line, but thoughts can be a kind of betrayal too. He pushed me, Eric says, his voice shaking. I pushed back. He stumbled, fell, hit his head. I didn't mean to. It was an accident. Mitchell writes it all down. And Sarah, he asks. Eric closes his eyes. She said she'd tell the truth, that she wouldn't lie. I panicked, thought they'd blame us, thought they'd say we wanted to get rid of him. Silence. Eric opens his eyes, tears run down his face. I grabbed the ice axe. I didn't think, I just reacted. Fear took over, and then it was too late. A man confessing to what had haunted him for months. But there's no relief, only emptiness. The lawyer covers his face with his hands. Mitchell turns off the recorder. Where are the bodies? He asks. Eric gives the exact place, the crevice, the coordinates, everything. The news explodes across town. A brother killed his brother, and his brother's wife. Out of fear, out of emotion, out of one wrong choice. Eric's parents don't believe it. Then they do, and it breaks them completely. His mother stops leaving the house. His father's hair turns gray in a week. They've lost both sons, one dead, the other a killer. Which is worse? The trial lasts 3 months. The defense argues it wasn't premeditated. Thomas's death was an accident. Sarah's, an act of panic. Eric didn't plan it, he just broke. Fear, shock, instinct. The prosecution demands the maximum, 25 years, for hiding the bodies, for lying, for trying to escape blame. The jury deliberates for 2 days. They return, guilty on all counts but with mitigating circumstances. No intent, emotional distress, a full confession. The judge announces the sentence, 6 years in prison, plus probation afterward. The courtroom erupts. Sarah's parents scream, 6 years for 2 lives? That's not justice. Eric is led away. He turns looking for his parents. His father stares at the floor. His mother is crying. Neither of them looks up. He's sent to a medium security facility. There, he becomes an outcast. Even among inmates, there's a code, and the man who kills his brother sits at the very bottom. Journalists flood the headlines. Love triangle ends in tragedy. The mountains forgive nothing. The public splits. Some call the sentence too light. Others say it's fair, but most simply can't forgive. The law said 6 years. The guilt was paid, but memory doesn't fade. People don't forget. Ever. 2018. 6 years later, Eric walks free in April, the same month he was arrested. A full circle. No one waits for him at the prison gate. His parents are gone. His mother died a year after the trial. Her heart just gave out. His father followed 2 years later. Never woke up one morning. Doctors called it a stroke. Eric knows it was heartbreak. He moves to a small town far from where it all began. Rents a room, finds a job at a warehouse, night shifts. Fewer people, fewer questions, fewer eyes. But the past won't let him go. The cashier at the store recognizes him, saw his face on TV. She whispers to a coworker. Eric feels their eyes on him, pays quickly, leaves. A month later, someone at work searches his name online, finds the articles, the courtroom photos. People pull away, stop saying hello, stop talking. He turns invisible, a ghost. At night, he lies awake, staring at the ceiling. He sees their faces, Thomas, Sarah, hears their voices, the wind, the silence after. Meanwhile, life goes on in the Logan Mountains. Every summer, climbers arrive. They follow the trails, set up camps. Some know the story, some don't. Those who do avoid that place, the crevice where the bodies were found. Locals call it Collins Crevice. Not official, but the name stuck. Sometimes tourists say they hear strange sounds there, cries in the wind. But it's just the wind, just the mountains. Mountains always scream, especially at night. Especially in February. 2020, a team of climbers takes a new route away from the usual paths. On the 5th day, they find something strange. Among the rocks, beneath a layer of old snow, rusted buckles from backpacks, 3 of them. The fabric long gone, only metal remains, and plastic tags with names. Thomas Collins, Sarah Collins, Eric Collins. They take photos, send them to the local museum. Soon a small exhibit appears. The Logan Mountains Tragedy, February 2012. Imagine that. Those things lay there for 8 years, rusting, fading, but not gone. Because in the mountains, time erases everything. The snow, the wind, the sun. Everything except memory. Eric sees the news, the photos, the rusted buckles. His name on a tag. He sits in front of the screen, motionless. An hour passes, then 2. He closes the laptop, goes to the kitchen, pours a glass of water, drinks slowly, looks out the window. It's raining, cold, gray, April rain. He thinks about going back there, to the mountains. But why? What would he find? Forgiveness? It's not there. Peace? That doesn't exist anywhere. Guilt doesn't live in the mountains. It lives inside. Every day, every night, it wakes up with him, falls asleep last, and it never leaves. Sometimes he thinks about his parents, what he could have done differently, not gone on that trip, told the truth right away, never taken that cursed necklace. But stories don't work that way. There's no what if, only what was and what is. A man in a small town, working nights, avoiding people, returning every night to those mountains in his mind, to those white spaces where it all began, where the snow remembers the footprints, the wind remembers the screams, the rocks remember the fall, because the mountains remember everything, always, even when people try to forget. The Logan Mountains stand as they have for thousands of years, white, silent, eternal. Snow falls every winter, melts every summer. The cycle repeats, unchanged, indifferent to human pain. Up there, 3,000 meters high, the wind howls between the cliffs. Temperatures drop to 40 below. No one lives there. Only birds pass sometimes. Only a few climbers come to test themselves. The crevice where the bodies were found is buried again each year. Nature doesn't keep scars. It just keeps going, calm, cold, endless. The place where the fight happened looks like any other now. The same rocks, the same snow, the same silence. You could walk right past it and never know. Never feel that everything changed right there. 3 people came in, February 2012. 3 lives, 3 fates, bound by love, betrayal, fear, and one fatal choice. They thought the danger was the cold, the storm, the mountain itself. But the real danger came with them, in their backpacks, in their hearts, in the feelings they never said aloud. Thomas feared betrayal. Eric feared admitting his love. Sarah feared hurting the men she loved. And those small human fears led to a tragedy greater than any storm. Because the real storm isn't the wind blowing 100 kilometers an hour. It's not the 40 below cold, not the snow blinding your eyes. The real storm is what rages inside. Jealousy, fear, guilt, panic. The survival instinct that drowns everything else. That's the storm no one can prepare for. No gear, no training, no escape. Eric lives somewhere far from those mountains now. He works, eats, sleeps, exists. But is he really living? Or just serving another sentence? A life one, without parole. Sergeant Mitchell retired in 2019. Sometimes he thinks about that case, his last big one. He wonders if it could have been stopped if someone had noticed earlier. But he knows the answer. It couldn't. Because the tragedy didn't start in the mountains. It started long before. With a glance held a second too long. A thought that shouldn't have been thought. A lie told to oneself. Sarah's parents moved away. Sold the house. Changed their numbers. Tried to forget. But the photos remained. Her smile. Young. Happy. Alive. The forest ranger still works there. Every time he registers a new climbing group, he thinks of that trio. The ones who left and never came back. He warns people more strictly now. The mountains don't forgive. But he adds quietly, what he never says aloud, they shouldn't forgive. That's not their job. Mountains just are. They're mirrors. They show us who we really are. In the comfort of the city, it's easy to be good. To control emotions, follow rules, play the part. But in the cold, the fear, the silence, the masks fall away. Only truth remains. And sometimes that truth is terrifying. Because the scariest place isn't the summit, not the bottom of a crevice, not the heart of the storm. The scariest place is inside us, where we hide the thoughts we don't admit, the feelings we're ashamed of, the choices made in panic, and the actions that can never be undone. The Logan Mountains stay silent, snow falls, the wind howls, life goes on, and somewhere in that white infinity lie 3 rusted buckles, 3 names, 3 reminders that we're all capable of more, of good and of harm, and that the line between them is thinner than we'd like to believe.